And one thing I saw discussed in your post that you shared from CII was is your work to rethink the interview process in a way that doesn't shut out candidates with autism or other neurodiverse learning and processing methods. So what's involved in rethinking the interview process? What would that look like?
Yeah. So listen, traditional interviews that we've mostly seen over the past 50, 60 years, a lot of companies do that panel style interview.
Yes.
Which we know doesn't work well for somebody who's neurodivergent. It doesn't work well for me either. So if I'm sitting across from you, Chris, and 5 other people, and you're firing off rapid questions at me, and I have a delayed processing as part of my neurodiversity, my neurodivergence, I should say, then you're going to think that either A, I don't know the answer, or I'm anxiety ridden. I can't do the job. I am probably anxiety ridden, but taking that panel away and then doing a one-on-one, and not for 6 hours either. You know, they have these super days for internships. They are very long and exhausting. We're trying to say, like, your interview should be 20 to 30 minutes tops. You should only have 2 or 3 at the most, because if you can't make that decision on the 3rd interview, I think you don't have the right hiring managers in the room to make that decision, right? You're going to send people 6 interviews is not the way to go. I think the other way that we've rethought the interview process is we use a neurodiverse friendly hiring platform. It uses gamification. We take away time constraints. You can do it via video or whatever way that best suits your needs. That's the way we want to do it. And it's all in an effort to remove that anxiety that comes with interviewing.
Yeah. And I think that's noteworthy. I mean, when I hear about those, I've mercifully never been in one of those 6-hour mega interviews with the Star Chamber, but yeah. On one hand, you can see that it's like they're so desperate to make sure that we don't make a mistake. And so we're just going to keep, we're going to save our investment by like making absolutely sure that, it's almost like an interrogation process. They figure at hour 5, you'll crack, and then they can let you go. But of course we've seen the consequences of this is that you're getting less and less qualified people coming through, and more of these are just left dangling. So that's very encouraging to hear as well. But so what is have you seen like a difficult path in getting this new process adopted by companies? I mean, obviously you're working with companies that want to work with you, but is this the sort of thing where you roll this out and they go, oh, that seems a little too easy or something like that? Do you get that?
Well, I think what we hear is that they feel that there's a risk associated with changing the way that they do these processes from interviewing to hiring to onboarding, right? We, as a service provider, are coming in and taking that risk out because we're going to do everything for them on the front end. We're teaching them how to fish, Chris, but initially we got to show them the ways of the world, right? So we were talking about, the hiring platform that is neurodiverse friendly, but like we do some other things, right? We have a talent discovery session, and that replaces more of the traditional interview process. So it's a hands-on evaluation that allows the candidates to feel more comfortable showing their talents in a supportive environment, because we have folks there who are job coaches and mentors. We're kind of going through a day in the life, right? If we're in cyber and it's, again, one of the positions in there, an incident response job, we're going to be teaching them, okay, this is what it's going to look like. I know you might have went to school for that, or you may have not have went to school for that, but you have skills that are transferable.
Yes.
And this may be a great job for you. And this is what we're going to do over the next few days. Now, adoption is what you were talking about from those companies, right? It is, again, a little bit of the risk, but they're now starting to sense and see that missing a whole community of people. And as you said, you're missing out on some skilled labor that you should have been hiring in the first place. So the changes are coming, not as fast, Chris, as we all want. I think it's harder for larger organizations to change that culture and make that switch. A little bit easier for the mid-sized and smaller companies to do that. But we need to make the case every time, right?
Yeah.
Still a little bit of stigma, that risk as I talked about, but I think we're moving the needle a little bit. I wish it would go a lot quicker, right? Chris, I shouldn't have this job, right? It should be built into the DNA of what companies do day in and day out. But until that day, here I am.
Have you seen Work Bites, the new security awareness training series from Infosec? Our team produced this series with 3 E's in mind, making security awareness training entertaining, engaging, and educational. Just go to infosecinstitute.com/free to learn more about this hilarious office comedy. And hey, let us know what you think about it.